Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Ben Dorr, Political Director for Minnesota Gun Rights. I have a very important message for gun owners in House District 55A. I'm standing right here at Shakopee Memorial Park. And guys, this has been a very contentious primary. There's been a lot of mudslinging going on in this primary. The primary is right around the corner, Tuesday, August 14th. And I'm here, guys, to tell you exactly where your candidates stand on your right to keep and bear arms. The HRCC has been running, I'm holding right here in my hands, two documents. One of them is full of facts. The other one is full of lies. And I'm going to walk through the truth about where your candidates stand on these issues. The HRCC put out a hit piece today on candidate Erik Mortensen. Erik Mortensen filled out our gun rights survey 100% pro-gun. 100% pro-gun. Bob Loonan did not fill out his gun rights survey. And I want to say right off the top, Minnesota Gun Rights is a 501c4 organization. We're a nonprofit. We do not do endorsements. Our job is to make sure you know exactly where your candidates stand on gun rights issues and the things we have seen from them. And so I needed to come here and set the record straight. Set the record straight on where your candidates stand. So I'm holding this piece of mail right here from the HRCC. HRCC, this is the establishment group in St. Paul. They exist to protect establishment politicians. And they put out this piece and it says, we don't know if Erik Mortensen will protect gun rights. It says, politician Erik Mortensen received a question mark from the National Rifle Association on his report card because the NRA and voters don't know where he stands on the Second Amendment. Now, we talk with a lot of candidates throughout the elections process. We like to get a feel for whether or not they're going to staunchly defend the Second Amendment or if they're just sort of paying lip service to gun owners. We've seen that many times. You guys know that very well. And so I contacted Erik Mortensen, and again, you know, we're Minnesota Gun Rights. We're not affiliated with any other organization, and we don't always get along with the NRA. They endorse some bad candidates. They've made some compromises that we at Minnesota Gun Rights are opposed to. But I called Erik Mortensen and I said, hey, you know, you didn't fill out the NRA survey or what happened? And he told me, he said, I never got an NRA survey. He never got the survey. He said, in fact, he said, I contacted the NRA and I said, hey, I'm a pro-gun candidate. I would love to fill out your survey. Will you please send it to me? And I said, sure, we'll send you the survey. But he never got it. He never received the survey, which is very odd, we would say. And so he would have filled out the NRA survey. But what I do know, folks, so this list goes on. It says what we do know is that Erik Mortensen joined with liberals and refused to vote for President Donald Trump in November. That, as you guys know, I mean, many of you have talked with Erik Mortensen as he's been going door knocking here in Shakopee. And he absolutely voted for our president in November of 2016. So the whole thing from top to bottom appears to be lies. Okay, I've got a few people here saying that they're losing connection or that the video is frozen. Let's see what we got here. Let me know if you guys can see me all right, please. Let me know if you can see me and hear me all right. I'm going to keep going here. So here's what I do know. What I'm holding right here is our Minnesota Gun Rights candidate questionnaire. This questionnaire is 8 very hard-hitting, detailed questions. You can see there's a lot of language there. And Erik Mortensen filled his survey out 100% pro-gun. He could not have answered the questions better. And the first question, will you oppose universal gun registration? Yes. If elected, would you oppose red flags gun seizure bills? He says, yes, I will oppose these. If elected, would you oppose legislation that restricts the age limit, which would move the age limit from 18 to 21 to own firearms? He says, yes, I will oppose that legislation. It says, if elected, would you oppose legislation banning the manufacture, sale, possession of fire? Yes, I will oppose that. He goes through this list. I will oppose. And then it gets to the meat and potatoes, folks. The meat and potatoes right here. If elected, will you support and push for constitutional carry legislation? Now, there's three options. There's no, there's co-sponsor, which a lot of the weak fledgling candidates or legislators like to fill out, and there is sponsor. So sponsor, co-sponsor, and no. Right there. It says sponsor, 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 all the way across the pro-gun bills. If elected, would you support stand your ground legislation in great detail? And he says, yes, I will sponsor this pro-gun legislation. And the last question, if elected, would you support legislation to end the deadly gun-free zones that are getting innocent people killed all across this country as madmen go into gun-free zones and attack innocent people? He says, yes, I will sponsor this legislation. Right there, folks. I will sponsor it. This is signed and sealed by candidate Erik Mortensen, running for House District 55A. This other piece of literature is good for a trash can. It's about what it's good for. And on the other side, I want to tell you, Bob Loonan, he refused to fill out his Minnesota gun rights candidate questionnaire. We know he received it. We sent it to him. He wouldn't fill it out. He wouldn't fill it out. And let me tell you the history of Representative Loonan in the legislature. He didn't do anything for gun owners. We don't have stand your ground law in Minnesota. Bob Loonan would not push the bill. He would not push it onto the floor for a vote. He did not work to pass real pro-gun bills like stand your ground. Constitutional carry. We still don't have constitutional carry here in the state of Minnesota. Bob Loonan would not push the bill. He didn't want to rock the boat in St. Paul. Didn't want to rock the boat. And so here we have it. When pro-gun candidates all across the state are signing on saying they will sponsor and they will actively push to get us real, substantive pro-gun bills passed here in Minnesota, Bob Loonan absolutely refuses to fill out his gun rights survey. And instead, the HRCC runs hit pieces on what they know to be strong pro-gun candidates like Erik Mortensen. And in 2018, you guys remember 2018, it was a bloodbath of gun control. 30+ gun control bills released in 2018 by anti-gunners being pushed. And all we asked was that somebody needs to stand up and fight for the Second Amendment, fight for gun owners. And Bob Loonan wouldn't even voice opposition to gun control. He wouldn't even denounce the gun control bills that were moving in St. Paul. He wouldn't even stand up and stop gun control. Guys, for us, it seems clear who's pro-gun and who is pro-gun control, or who is not willing to do the fight. Who's not willing to fight? Bob won't fill out his survey. Bob's not going to fight. Erik Mortensen has filled out his survey and has been vocal. He's been shouting from the rooftops all over Shakopee, I will fight like a mad dog for gun owners. I will defend and advance the Second Amendment, and I will not let any party, any politicians, or anything stand in my way of fulfilling my promises, my obligation, my duty to my constituents to pass major, substantive pro-gun bills that Minnesotans deserve. That is the promise from Erik Mortensen in writing on his Minnesota gun rights candidate survey that he rushed to us as fast as he could. And so we don't know exactly who the nameless faceless organization is at the HRCC. We don't know who's running it, but they're throwing out slicks fast as they can get them out the door. Whatever they can do to smear candidates. Oh yeah, I totally agree. That's what they're doing here, folks. That's what they're doing here. Nameless, faceless organizations interfering in your election. This is your election. This is your district, House District 55A. This is Shakopee. This is your election, and you deserve to decide who you want to represent you, not nameless, faceless establishment organizations doing their best to smear pro-gun candidates. It's all right here, folks, in writing. In writing. This is the promise, this is the commitment of Erik Mortensen. I'll tell you what, if we had one of these from Bob Loonan, I'd be standing right here saying, look, here we have it. 2 commitments, 2 people promising, but we don't have that. Bob wouldn't fill it out. Bob wouldn't fill it out. And what's more here, the House Republican Campaign Committee, that's the HRCC, they are attacking the endorsed Republican candidate. And again, you know, we're not Democrats or Republicans. We are nonpartisan. We believe in the Second Amendment. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. But the HRCC is the Republican committee who is attacking the Republican endorsed candidate. They're attacking the Republican endorsed candidate. We think that stinks of shady politics, of shady politicians. That reeks of backroom deals, of politicians in people's pockets. That does not look like grassroots. It doesn't look like grassroots fighting for gun owners. And so I knew that I had to come up here. I live in Northfield, that's where our office is, but I had to come up here to Shakopee and make sure gun owners knew the truth. Gun owners know the truth about where their candidates stand, about these garbage pieces of mail that are landing all across the district. Because guys, what they're trying to do here, and this is the reason. So this is the question: why would the HRCC oppose the endorsed candidate? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? The answer is that, again, nobody's fighting for gun owners in St. Paul. Nobody's opposing gun control. Nobody is pushing to pass pro-gun bills. So when Erik Mortensen promises to go there and defy the establishment to pass pro-gun bills, the answer is very clear. The HRCC, Kurt Dowd, and the establishment in St. Paul wants to maintain their death grip on power. They want to maintain control of St. Paul at all costs, and they will do whatever it takes to keep staunch pro-gun candidates out of there. So in other words, what they want in St. Paul are button pushers, bench warmers, couch warmers, people who are willing to sit down in their office and do nothing on behalf of gun owners. And this, folks, this has been all too common in St. Paul. This has been all too common from Bob Loonan, is a total lack of action, real action on behalf of the Second Amendment. And so as Erik Mortensen is standing here saying, I will follow through. I will force the vote on the House floor. I will do my duty to my district, to my constituents, to the voters, to gun owners, to all freedom-loving Minnesotans. When he is standing there saying, this is what I am going to do, that is what the HRCC is trying to crush right now. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to destroy real pro-gun candidates who want to advance and pass substantive pro-gun bills, something Bob Loonan has refused to do. He won't sponsor the bills. He won't ask Speaker Dowd to pass the bills. He won't force a vote on the House floor to get us pro-gun bills. It has been years since we have had any pro-gun bills here in the state of Minnesota pass into law. Erik Mortensen is promising to change that status quo. Erik Mortensen is promising to go there and fight for the gun owners and the freedom lovers in this district, right here in Shakopee in 55A. That is the promise from Erik Mortensen, shamelessly written down with his signature on this survey in writing. That is his promise. And what's more, I want to say one more thing. Erik Mortensen has also filled out his Minnesota gun rights leadership pledge, and that is something rarely done, very rarely done. That is a whole nother set of questions that only the staunchest, only the most sincere legislator or candidate would fill out, because, boy, if you turn your back after that, that's bad news, bad news, bad news. But Erik Mortensen filled it out, was happy to do so, was happy to tell folks where he stands on these issues. So guys, I'm asking you, share this video, share it with your friends, share it with your family, make sure everybody in House District 55A knows the truth about this garbage right here, these lies that are being spread by the HRCC. Let folks know the truth about where their candidates stand. Erik Mortensen, 100% pro-gun. 110% pro-gun, because what's more, he didn't just fill it out, he's promising to go He's promising to go to the mat. He's promising to fight. He's promising to follow in the footsteps of great men who came before him and get this done. Get it done for gun owners. That is the Erik Mortensen promise, and that's why I had to come out here again. I need you to know the truth. I need you to know the truth. So share this video, share with your friends and family. The August 14th primary is coming up right around the corner. It's going to be here very shortly. And the last thing I'll ask you, on August 14th, go out and vote pro-gun. Our freedoms depend on it. Our state depends on it. Vote pro-gun, vote pro-gun. That's all I can say here, folks. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hopping on board. Share this video with your friends and family, or just tell them, look, these are lies. This is the truth. Here it is in writing. Make sure they know the truth about where these candidates stand, about the truth about Bob's total inaction on behalf of gun owners, and of Erik Mortensen's stalwart promises to advance the Second Amendment. So guys, I'm signing off right now. Share this video and I'll have more updates for you coming up very shortly.